Good? Okay. One second here, guys. We're going, right? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Getting excited about a fucking monitor I already have is the best feeling in the world. This looks solid, though. I'm I'm pretty fucking poor right now, though, so I only have I have a plastic table. I need to upgrade to a wood table. But it's okay. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Camden Hampshire. I got the suit on. I got underwear right here, but we're not gonna mention anything about that. I got the suit on regardless. Today, welcome to the WatchTower, by the way. And one of the main reasons why I started doing political live streams and just making content in general is because I liked it. I enjoyed talking to people. For those who don't know, I started out in 2023 creating street interviews. You know, the whole red pill movement was on the rise. Everybody was talking to OnlyFans hoes on podcasts, screaming at them how they're never going to get married or have a loving husband, never going to have kids. And the rise of the red pill was gaining popularity. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to get it in myself. So besides that, you know, got 40 million views within a certain period of time. And it worked out pretty well. You know, and like I said, one of the reasons why I started making content to begin with is because I like talking to people. And a big problem with that, with creators on the internet from talking to people, is censorship. You know, the last couple of years, mass censorship has become popular and has become sort of this major trend that has been happening with, you know, the European Union, these third world type authoritarian countries. And it started to really show its true colors in America just a couple years ago. You had basically the rise and fall of a character like Andrew Tate. You know, he was on the internet. He was talking a bunch of shit, making jokes, had some very great points, and still does. He's a brilliant guy. Yet, he got banned on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all these social media sites within a day, just like that. It's like somebody pointed at him and said, "You're going down." Bam, unplugged automatically. Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, all these main guys, all these head characters for having an opinion. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, was mass censorship turning into political violence in America, in the European Union. And I wanted to bring an example up of a guy who wrote a book in the 1980s. His name was Salman Rushdie. He is an author. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's still alive or not. He was an author and still is an author. And in the 1980s, he wrote a book called The Satanic Verse. And basically, you know, this guy had never been politically affiliated whatsoever. He was just an author. According to Iran's leader at the time, he felt that Rushdie's book, The Satanic Rule, had propaganda about Islam and Muslims in it, and in 1989 decided to call for Rushdie's death for having an opinion, for writing something in a book. never protesting, never getting into a fight, never doing anything. And in about 35 whatever years later, in 2022, he got stabbed, I think, 15 times at a press conference by a Muslim who thought as if, you know what, I read a couple pages of this guy's book, watched a couple videos, and now I decide that this guy is automatically a bad guy, and I'm going to try and kill him because of it. Because of a political opinion, not even political maybe. Who knows? I didn't read the book. I don't know if it was a religious standpoint, a political standpoint about Islam and Muslims. He got an attempt on his life because of an opinion. Now, a new age, a newer type of example is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was killed supposedly by Thomas Robinson, shot down in cold blood in front of 3,000 people. Shot in the neck, supposedly. Not saying supposedly in the sense that, you know, it obviously did happen, but there's a lot of weird things surrounding that case. And I just think it's weird how you have a guy like Charlie Kirk, never ran for office, was some sort of political figure, never had any sort of political campaign whatsoever. He started a company called Turning Point USA where he talked to college kids. He talked to kids on college campuses about certain political, cultural, and economic issues going on in America. And he gets shot in the neck for it. I'm talking in the sense that he is somebody who wants leadership in America, and will do anything in his power to get that, and he gets killed for it. And that is something that is obviously wrong. So, back to Rushdie. He gets stabbed in 2022, and after this, he becomes one of the strongest voices for censorship in America. And, you know, these are some of his things he talks about. He says, what is freedom of expression? Without the freedom to offend, it ceases to exist. And you start to see this sort of pendulum swing where at first, when mass censorship and articles about certain figures and all these different things, it started becoming popular on the conservative right-wing side, and then it started this transition to the left-wing side where anything that these Democrats and these leftists, these far-right leftists did not like, they will call for your censorship, and they will ultimately, the crazy ones, call for your death. These fucking weirdos on the internet, on TikTok, celebrated when Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. They celebrated. There was more political figures that they were calling for their death right after Charlie Kirk. He also says the moment you say that any idea is sacred, you remove it from discussion. People are frightened to speak. That's a dangerous moment for a society. All these totalitarian worlds that were before America and before our time, the Roman Empire fell due to censorship. That was one of the reasons why Rome fell. You have a country like North Korea under strict censorship, under strict technology surveillance. You have USSR, these communist countries that start, because it starts out slow, right? It doesn't start out as something that's bombarded with mass surveillance censorship. It starts out something with free speech, and then it goes to restricted speech, and then it goes to no speech at all. And one of the things that is very, I guess, good about these different social media platforms is that I have seen this year that there has been some sort of uplift in censorship with Elon Musk buying Twitter a couple years ago. But now this came out today. X, formerly known as Twitter, is being fined by the European Commission under the Digital Services Act, DSA, implications for free speech and big tech. On December 5th, X was fined 120 million euros for violating DSA transparency requirements. The EU said X misled users about verification, failed to provide adequate and ad transparency data, and restricted researcher access to public info. Now, the European Union is one of those societies already that has the digital ID. They already have mass surveillance in the streets. They are, by definition, a totalitarian state of big government, little you. There is no public opinion in the EU. There is no expressing the way you feel about a certain thing, whether or not they disagree or agree with you. There just is none of that. They are pushing heavily for the digital ID. Everything. And I talked about this in my very first video. Digital ID. And I'm not sure what type of relationship the European Union and the United States have, but it is so very easily accessible for these lawmakers and these politicians and all these sorts of high government people to infiltrate the United States just the way they did in the European Union. It is not that hard. We have foreign entities coming from all different directions in America to be able to say what goes on in America, what gets talked about on these social media platforms, because mainly all of these social media platforms are in Silicon Valley, in California, in the United States in general. It's not that hard. They just got to get one of these founders of these big tech companies all sauced up one night to be able to change their fucking rules and regulations on what free speech even is. Because what is free speech? Is free speech something that, you can talk about it as long as it doesn't offend you? You can talk about it as long as it doesn't put your opinions in a predicament. Or is free speech, like Rushdie said, the freedom to offend? If you have the freedom to offend, that is by definition free speech. You are speaking your mind. With free speech with great power comes great responsibility. You have no idea how completely frustrating it is for all these Americans who are with free speech, who are against big government, who are against all these major things that we are seeing a trend of in the United States, to just get mass censorship based on their fucking opinion. Yet you have these so-called peaceful protests of people fucking breaking windows, burning down buildings, breaking cars, burning down cars, fucking punching police officers in the street, fucking BLM, ICE. Yeah, they're peaceful protests is what they are. And I mean, like, there was only there was only a few selected states that you saw that in, and one of them was California. And, like I talked about California with Silicon Valley, you also have them trying to pass a bill, like 7B771 is what it was called. And it says it would have imposed heavy penalties, fines up to $1 million on social media platforms whose recommendation algorithms allegedly promoted content that could lead to harassment or hate. That could lead to. Not do harassment or hate, that could lead to. What does that tell you? Where is the line drawn? If you say, I don't want my kid to get their wiener chopped off, and I don't want them becoming a girl. My son was born a male. Could that be deemed as anti-transgender? Because you're implying that just because your 8-year-old son doesn't want to go on SSRIs and hormone blockers to chop off his wee-wee to become a woman, that's anti-trans. You're a hateful human being. That's just a broad example. That could happen. You never know. These people are insane. These people are literally insane because they are trying to tell you what to say and what not to say. And the left, they're so fucking dumb that they're not even intelligent enough to be able to formulate a good opinion or conversation because their ideas and their political views are just so, they're so dumb that these tech companies, they don't even want to bother censoring them. It almost seems like, the only people that get censored on social media are these far right people. They're all not far right, but leaning more conservative. Leaning more conservative. Name me one. Somebody in the comments after this video is posted, in the chat, whatever, name one person who got mass censored on social media within the last 5 years because of a leftist opinion that they have. What about Twitch? Twitch is this far left streaming services that these OnlyFans chicks can sit in a hot tub in their bikinis and be pretty much fully nude and steal. I saw this freaking Asian streamer. She stole from Target. She didn't get banned on Twitch. She didn't get banned on social media. She literally committed a crime on camera, yet she didn't get banned. Yet, if I say there are only two genders, men and women are not equal in value. They have certain roles in society. If I say one of those things, I'm going to get banned on Twitch because it's hateful. It's hateful. According to them, according to their terms and regulations. Newsom decided to veto the bill. He said while he supported the intent to curb hateful or violent content, the bill was premature. What is hateful and violent content? Excuse me. If I said I'm going to... If I said... I don't even... If I said I'm going to punch you in your fucking mouth and I'm going to... You know what, you... If I said that, that's hateful. But if I said, your opinion is wrong, here's why I think it's wrong, and here's my opinion, and here's why I think it's right. That's it. That's considered hateful and violent to some of these people. He argued that the state first needs to assess whether existing laws are sufficient before enacting sweeping new rules targeting algorithmic promotion. And AB 2655, signed by Newsom in 2024, requires large online platforms to remove or label materially deceptive audio-video content. What is different between AB 2655 and SB 771? What's the difference between removing and labeling material deceptive audio/video content and imposed heavy penalties on promoting content that could lead to harassment or hate? There is really no difference between that. There really isn't. There's no difference between that. I'm not convinced there is. The idea is to counter manipulation of voters, misinformation, and AI-driven deceptive content. I mean, the AI deceptive content I can see being sufficient because you have this AI content nowadays that looks incredibly real. And nobody is talking about the fact that there's not these blockers on whether or not it tells you. These social media companies should have some sort of implemented system right away with the rise in AI on whether or not this content, this video, this audio, this picture, whatever is AI or not. But these Instagram, Meta, Facebook, like they're just throwing all these videos out into these algorithms because they know that people are fucking dumb enough to buy it. And to not even question whether or not, there's some smart people that question whether or not it's AI, but some people just automatically believe it's real. Critics, including free speech advocates, argues this gives platforms broad power to determine what's real or deceptive. My point exactly. Potentially chilling satire, whistleblowing, or controversial speech. Yeah, I mean, and like recently you have this ex-CIA guy, I forgot his name, he's going around on all these podcasts and saying like how, the CIA, there's certain CIA operations that were involved in certain major events, Israeli intelligence operations that were involved in these certain events, and the technology, how they can listen to you through your camera, or through your TV, through your camera. He said that the CIA has technology to be able to turn on some sort of microphone on your TV to listen into your household even when the TV's turned off. And he's going on all these podcasts, which is great. He's blowing the whistle. He's an ex-CIA officer, yet I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting slammed as a misinformation far-right person for going against a certain and pushing a certain narrative against against the CIA and against certain military intelligence operations. What is controversial speech? Who made the rule? Who made the line in between what you can and can't say and what's deemed controversial? Is there a difference between misinformation and controversial speech? Absolutely. Misinformation speech is something that you can debunk with physical evidence. Controversial speech is just something that goes against your ideals. Do you call it wrong? There was I saw a video of a Senate hearing, and Bernie Sanders asked a question. If I say that the United States shouldn't give money to Israel to be able to fund weapons in the attacks in the Middle East and Iran, by me stating that, is that anti-Semitic? And he asked this congresswoman, and she says, no, that statement by definition is not anti-Semitic. And then there was a rabbi, and he asked the rabbi, and the rabbi goes, well, I mean, he eventually said no, but like, he wanted to say yes. He wanted to say yes. That's just one definition of all these people who can just decide on what's anti-Semitic, what's racist, what's anti-gay, what's anti-LGBTQ plus IA, alphabet soup, what's anti-trans, what's anti anything. I mean, it's crazy, man. And you know, you have, let's see. I'll do a little example. Can they see? Yeah, they can see. I mean, just to put it into perspective, you have, oh shit, so-called free speech. What is free speech? Free speech is free speech. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want. And nowadays, the last couple of years, it has gone from free speech down to restricted speech. What does this mean? It means you have so-called free speech according to the First Amendment right in America, and it goes to restricted speech because you don't go in line with what our policies are. If it's something that we don't align with politically, then it's factually incorrect. We're going to restrict you. We're going to ban you. And this creates something called political tension. Political tension against these certain groups that are for free speech, against these people who are restricted speech. And you have all these conservatives on the right as well. This is not just bashing leftists. This is not bashing Democrats. This is also bashing conservatives. There's certain politicians in government, in Congress, whether left or right, that are so fucking sensitive that when it's something that they don't agree on, they deem it as hateful. This political tension goes from that to protests, and the protests never go lightly. They always go south. They always turn into violence. And that kind of segues into my next sort of topic is political violence. Like I talked about earlier, Rushdie getting stabbed in 2022 15 times by a Islamist or Muslim who read 2 pages of his book and watched a couple videos and deemed him to be hateful. And then, I mean, thank God he survived. But somebody, unfortunately, like Charlie Kirk, did not survive. Think about that. Rushdie is an author. He writes books. Charlie Kirk spoke to college kids. What does that tell you? Think about, I mean, Donald Trump last year. He had an attempt on his life. And that was the first time, I think in a long time, that a United States, not maybe a long time, a United States president had an attempt on their life. I guess depending on what you want to say an attempt was. I mean, he got shot in the ear. That was an attempt on his life, obviously. So, it's getting to the point where if an author of a book and the owner of a company where they go to college kids and debate them, if their life is at risk, so is yours. So is mine. So is yours. Anybody who has a political opinion on social media, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, eventually if you get big enough and you get a big enough influence, your life could potentially be at risk. And that's sad. That is sad. And honestly, it has become more apparent on the left to the right. The left advocating for that violence against these so-called right-wing politicians or conservative politicians, whatever you want to call them, Republican. Like, right here, according to a recent survey by Pew Research Center, 85% of Americans say politically motivated violence in the U.S. is increasing. That's across party lines. 86% of Republicans and Republican leaners say the same, and 85% of Democrats and Democratic leaners. Like, that's literally everybody, pretty much. 85% is only 15% less of 100. Like, that's pretty much literally everybody. And that's coming from both sides. The same report shows many Americans see both left-wing and right-wing extremism, as well as extremism from people with no clear political affiliation, as at least a minor problem and often a major one. This is people getting attacked at conferences, on the street, like getting violent. Oy vey. That's funny. And so, what are we at right now? $33 what? Minutes. Oh. There's so many people are watching? What is that on? Rumble. Oh. What about YouTube? 1? Nice. Hell yeah. So, I talked about the European digital ID, and the question is, with like I said, like, it doesn't matter what the European Union is doing, because that's not America. And but like, it doesn't matter until it starts happening in America, and it already is, because that poses the question is, with these other foreign interests coming into this country, is that the reason why there is starting to become a trend in America with mass censorship and political violence over the last 25 years? Or however long it started to happen? Like, you have global tech companies operating across the borders, and what becomes normal in the EU can influence what becomes acceptable anywhere. With rising political violence, fear, and polarization, like, the pressures to regulate the social media and to control the misinformation and to impose safety measures, it poses the question is, when is that going to happen in America? All white people. I'm not even, if it's just American in general. Like, doesn't matter the skin color. I pick religion over race. I know that was a big debate on Twitter, like race over religion. It's like, I pick religion over race. It doesn't matter what race you are. As long as you believe in Jesus Christ, then, like, what do I have a problem with you? But if you're going to come into this country with not my same culture, not the same mannerisms, not the same just in, like, I don't even know, like, if you come into this country and, I don't know, I mean, like, that can go into a whole nother conversation about immigration, which I already talked about. in my previous video. Is that you? Z Lepo? Who is that? What up, bro? Whoever you are. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, it's just, the mass censorship thing is getting insane. And I get, like, you know, social media companies have different rules and regulations on what you can and can't do per se. But it's like, it's so hard to determine that, because, like I said, like, what is restrictive speech? What is controversial opinions? What is that? Because if there is an opinion that 100 years ago was crazy to talk about, if so many people just start pumping it and pumping it and pumping it and pumping it into social media, into the minds of these young people, these influential young people, or just people in general, people are just going to start to believe it. Humans are adaptive in that sense, that once they consistently hear something and hear something and hear something and hear something, they're just going to start to believe it. They are. I can think of many examples. Some of them I'm not going to say because it will get me banned. But, like, there's so many around, just like every guy does, every man does. But, like, in all reality, if we really want to change America and, like, you really, I thought you were leaving. If you really want to change what you see in America, the issue or the solution to that is to not use violence, is to not use this this over powerful type behavior. It's to have simple conversations, because like Charlie Kirk said, is when people stop talking, that's when collides happen. That's when violence happens. So these conversations need to start happening. They need to continue to happen. And whether or not it offends you or not, like, you need to pull your big boy pants up and understand that there is not everything on the internet, not everything you see is going to be good speech. It's not going to be the best formulated, tailored speech that you love to see every day. Like, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be offensive. Like, that's just the way it is. That comes with the risks. It's just like guns in America. Just like cars. These opportunities to have these certain things, to have guns in America, to have cars in America, it's going to come with the exception that things are going to happen. It's a result of it. It's human nature. It's life. Like, anything can happen. So we need to continue to have these conversations. And, you know, I am excited to see where this goes. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's all jokes. Like, it's all fun and games. But, like, I really want to make a difference with what gets said and the types of conversations that people have on social media, because, like, it's the next wave of this young generation to be able to fix certain laws and regulations and rules to help this country in the long run. Like, it's all, in all seriousness, like, it really is my goal to be able to get, you know, smart people on, to be able to have conversations and better and push the envelope and push against these big tech corporations and big billionaires and all these people that want to authoritate this society into one world government, pretty much. Like, you have to be able to put up a risk to be able to fight for what you love. That is the risk. That is overall the risk. Now, if you want to be somebody that's just normal and, like I've said before, like, ignorance is bliss. Like, yeah, that's all fine. But, like, at the end of the day, like, if you have that fire inside you that gets pissed off, like, you should be able to express the way you feel and have certain conversations, because that's what keeps America. That's what keeps the democracy. That's what keeps the the Bill of Rights. Like, that's what keeps everything in place, is having those conversations to be able to come to an agreement or a disagreement to agree. Like, that's what it comes down to. So I'm very excited for what's to come. I'm trying to have big collabs coming, politicians, tech guys, whoever wants to have conversations about certain things that they believe could be the next big thing or could be the next worst thing that happens in America. And I'm going to continue to do these streams, and I'm going to continue to talk about these things because, like I said, it's important. So I thank you guys for watching, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and comment what you disagree on. I want to hear. I want to have conversations. So, or agree, or whatever. Like, I want to know what everyone's talking about, what you agree, disagree with me on, and just going to keep going. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, like I said, and have a good one. Peace.